Hello, my name is Monica and I'm the Commissioner of the Vermont Department of Disabilities, Aging, and Independent Living. I want to welcome you to Choices for Care. The Choices for Care long-term care Medicaid program provides long-term services and supports to Vermonters age 18 years or older who need nursing home level of care and who require extensive daily assistance with personal care, but want to remain in the setting of their choice. Choices for Care providers help clients thrive wherever they feel most comfortable, whether it's in their own home, a family member's home, an adult family care home, a nursing facility, a residential care home, or an assisted living residence that accepts Medicaid. This video is intended as an educational tool for those using Choices for Care in the home-based setting. Additional information on other Choices for Care services can be found by calling the helpline at 800-642-5119. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. The Choices for Care program is designed for people who meet the clinical criteria for nursing home level of care and are financially eligible for long-term care Medicaid. In order to provide clients with personalized and appropriate care, we introduce new applicants to one of our long-term care clinical coordinator nurses who conducts an initial clinical assessment in the person's home. After the visit, the nurse will determine clinical eligibility. In the home-based option, the Choices for Care program offers 3 services that may be directed by the recipient or a surrogate. These services include personal care, respite care, and companion services. The home-based option uses case management services to help the recipient create a plan for services, which is based on abilities and needs. Case management services are provided by either the local area agency on aging or approved home health agency.
Hi, my name is Wendy, and I'm a case manager for Choices for Care. In order to determine eligibility, we must first conduct a face-to-face clinical assessment, also known as the new applicant assessment. In order for the initial assessment to be effective, we ask that the applicant be home, awake, and out of bed, if able, at the time of the assessment, actively participate in the assessment, answering questions to the best of their ability, and demonstrate their range of motion and physical capabilities as best they can. All applicants should be as cooperative and forthcoming as they can, as refusing to fulfill these requirements could increase the chance that their application be denied. When someone enrolls in the Choices for Care program, they will be matched with a case manager like myself, who will conduct in-person visits at least every 60 days. We also check in with the recipient at least once a month by phone. During these visits and check-ins, we invite you to share any changes in health or other needs. This allows us to provide the best service possible. Case managers use this ongoing communication to make sure that care is exactly what each recipient needs as they change and develop over the years. So it's important, just like the initial assessment, that our clients be cooperative and forthcoming with us. Individuals who aren't honest with their case managers run the risk of losing their services. Once a year, the case manager brings a nurse to the in-person visit to conduct a reassessment of the recipient's health. This annual reassessment is mandatory as we use it to ensure that our clients are receiving the exact services they need. Because we are dedicated to providing quality care, we can only work with the client if we are sure that we are taking good care of them, so we encourage all of our clients to be open and available for these annual reassessments.
Hi, my name's TJ Donovan, and I'm Vermont's Attorney General. Although it's rare, sometimes clients and caretakers misunderstand the laws surrounding the Choices for Care program. In some unfortunate cases, those who misuse the program can be prosecuted in court for Medicaid fraud and even client neglect and exploitation. So it's in the interest of everyone participating in Choices for Care to understand what these violations entail. That way, Vermonters can remain eligible for the services they need to stay healthy, and caretakers can continue to do their jobs well. First, all clients and caretakers should understand that Medicaid only pays for services that are medically necessary, so don't bill for any that aren't. They should also make sure that the services they bill for have actually been provided. There are two kinds of Medicaid violations: Medicaid abuse and Medicaid fraud. Medicaid abuse includes any incidents or practices that are not consistent with accepted Medicaid standards and which can result in unnecessary costs to Medicaid. Examples of Medicaid abuse include intentionally underreporting income, assets, resources to Medicaid, residing out of state while seeking Medicaid reimbursements, drug-seeking behaviors, overutilization of healthcare services, selling products, medications, or supplies for profit, provider billing discrepancies, excessive charges for services or supplies, claims for services other than those that are necessary and approved for the care of the individual per the care plan, improper billing practices by the provider, billing for services that were not provided, inaccurate coding, and misrepresentation of professional credentials, licensing, or status of licensure. Medicaid fraud is a felony, which is a serious crime, and Medicaid fraud entails knowingly committing or attempting or aiding and abetting in any of the following when seeking or receiving reimbursement from Vermont Medicaid: billing for services that were not performed, providing and billing for unnecessary services, billing for a higher level of services than were actually performed, charging Medicaid higher rates than one would charge other providers for the same services, coding billing records to increase reimbursement, misrepresenting an unallowable service as another allowable service, or falsely diagnosing a client in order to get Medicaid to pay for the services that diagnosis requires. The consequences of being convicted of Medicaid fraud are very serious. Medicaid fraud is a felony, and conviction can lead to substantial penalties, including imprisonment for up to 10 years or a fine up to $1,000, or twice the amount of the assistance or benefits wrongfully obtained, or both. Additionally, individuals convicted of Medicaid fraud will be prohibited from working for any program or facility that receives Medicaid funding for at least 5 years. For new Americans, the consequences of a Medicaid fraud conviction can be even more severe. They could potentially lose their citizenship and could even be deported. Other types of violations include client abuse, neglect, and exploitation. The most common victim of these is what's legally called a vulnerable adult, and these are exactly the people that Choices for Care serves. A vulnerable adult is someone age 18 or older who meets at least one of the following criteria: is a resident of a licensed care facility such as a nursing or community care home, is a patient in a psychiatric unit or hospital, has received personal care services for longer than 1 month, or is, regardless of residence or type of services received, impaired as a result of brain damage, aging infirmities, or any physical, mental, or developmental disability. Just like Medicaid fraud, abuse, neglect, and exploitation of a vulnerable adult are all against the law. Violators will be added to the Adult Abuse Registry and may be fined up to $10,000, and new Americans may also lose their citizenship or even be deported. Client abuse can be physical, emotional, or both. Physical abuse includes excessive force in treatment or therapy, unnecessary contact or non-consensual sexual contact by a care provider, hitting, shoving, shaking, or the use of physical restraints, and drug theft or depriving a patient of their medicine. Emotional abuse includes intimidation by yelling, humiliation, habitual blaming, harsh treatment, ignoring a person's needs, isolating the person from family or friends, and scaring the person. Neglect is when a care provider deprives or excessively delays food, water, medication, medical services, shelter, clothing, heat, or cooling to a client. Exploitation is the misappropriation of someone else's property or identity. Examples include falsification of claims and using access to a vulnerable adult's personal accounts to divert funds to other accounts. To help you avoid instances of fraud, abuse, neglect, and exploitation, keep in mind these examples of what employers, surrogates, and caregivers cannot do. It is illegal for employers, surrogates, and caregivers of vulnerable adults to pay Medicaid dollars to someone who is not a caregiver of record with ARIS or the home health agency, even if this person has performed the care. All hired caregivers must pass a background check and complete the necessary paperwork to become a caregiver of record. Put false information on timesheets, reporting that they have performed care when they did not, or request an increase in hours in order to make more money. The amount of care we provide is based solely on our own analysis of the client's needs and not on the caregiver's desire for increased income. This goes both ways. Here are a few examples of what a vulnerable adult cannot do. It is illegal for a vulnerable adult to report the existence of a condition that they do not have or lie about their health status. Report that they cannot care for themselves when they can. or report that their condition has worsened when it has not. If you or someone you know has been a victim of abuse, neglect, or exploitation, contact the Attorney General's office at 802-828-3171. We're here to help.
We hope this video has given you a thorough introduction to the Vermont Choices for Care program. Our goal is to ensure that those in the program get the supports and services they need in order to live in the setting of their choice. We invite you to contact us with any questions or concerns you may have about the Choices for Care program. We look forward to serving you.